That's a good thing about life. When it's your life, that is. And yes, I'm talking to anybody and everybody watching this video. Lightning coffee. The good thing about life is that you can essentially use not only social media outlets and any books that you buy to study, to research, but you could also use other people's training methods along with dietary requirements in order to get you where you need to be in not only life but the gym itself, if you happen to be one of those guys or women that like training. Without, and this is where I went wrong in the past, without, might I add, the comparison mentality. That's where a lot of us go wrong. We start doing all of this and that. We try new trends. We do new things that we happen to think is the real deal. You know, the good deal, as you will, when we're actually trying them out. And in reality, our souls are actually screaming, look, you're doing more harm than good. Quit this while you're ahead. Work with me and we'll sort something new out for you. Something that won't actually, in fact, cause physical and psychological damage later on down the line. Something that would actually, in fact, energize the soul, as you will. The point I'm trying to make is that I believe wholeheartedly that it doesn't matter how many celebrities that we see, what their lifestyles are like. If we choose to take something up that they do, or because it's actually in fact beneficial, or should I say it's packed full of health benefits for the body, the mind and the soul, as well as the heart, that is, you could do that. This is what I'm saying. Like, you can essentially do you could do pretty much anything that anybody else does, as long as you're not comparing yourself to these said people or anybody else for that matter. This is where it gets toxic and extremely damaging on the brain, because we take something up and we automatically put on the comparison lenses, restricting us from moulding our own identities, as you will. And this needs to stop. It needs to stop, talking from past experiences, because it's dangerous. You know, it is dangerous. And when I say dangerous, I'm not necessarily talking physically dangerous. I'm talking dangerous on the mind, because it does actually, in fact, weaken mentalities. It cripples mentalities. It cripples people's way in thinking. The more I think about it now, we have idols everywhere you look in life, of different statuses, different backgrounds, different job roles. And they got to where they are now due to the fact that they put the time and effort in to study themselves, to reflect on themselves, in order to accomplish their dreams, their goals and aspirations, as you will. And I'm sharing this video to those that are currently seeking their goals and aspirations in life, it's going to take time. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty, a lot of discomfort, and there is going to be a lot of sacrifice in order to get to where you need to be. Because at the minute, people are doing exactly what I did wrong, that I'm now beginning to not only awaken to, but pay the price for, if that makes sense, to some extent. People are chasing after lifestyles that they see as, oh, well, I could see myself doing that. I can honestly see myself doing that. Therefore, I'm going to chase it. I'm going to mold myself into becoming this lifestyle, this characteristic, this persona. And then they completely forget. They put on the comparison lenses. They put these comparison lenses on, and then they start comparing themselves to these people that are living the current lifestyles. And before you know it, because they're comparing themselves, they're opening psychological doors that are actually, in fact, weakening their mentality. They're opening doors, neurological doors, that are actually crippling their mentality. And that way in thinking has to stop, people. It has to stop. Otherwise, you are going to bring psychological damage. You are going to weaken your mind. And in order to live the life that you can honestly envision yourself living, for a start, you're going to have to sacrifice comparing yourself to others. You're going to have to sacrifice not putting any of the false gods, the false idols, as you will, behind these lifestyles, these choices and these decisions. You're going to have to sacrifice what else am I thinking? Bad choices and bad decisions in order to get to where you need to be. Because I believe, on a whole, that it's our failures. It's our failures that help push us. It's our failures that kick us up the arse, as you will, to help push us, to help motivate us, to help inspire us into living the life that we currently want to live. And there you have it. I shared this video not to get any sympathy, not to get any remorse or anything of the sort. I shared it because I know that there are people out there currently trying to find a life, a new life, as you will, that they can honestly see themselves living a life to compensate for the crappy lives that they're living now, talking from past experiences, that is. And they're going the wrong way about it. And they are only going to experience what I experienced until they begin to wake up and go, oh, wait a minute, okay, bingo, I caught up within some spiritual and psychological traps here that I need to break free from, conditions, as you will, and begin to replace. In other words, I need to begin to replace these spiritual and psychological traps preventing me from living the life that God wants me to live with my own creativity, my own ways of thinking. So essentially you can still live the life that these people that you have some sort of connection with one way or another, just without the comparison lenses, the putting false gods and false idols on a pedestal before God the Father and his Son Jesus Christ, making bad choices and bad decisions. You've got to have to let these go. There's probably a list bigger than both my arms and my legs, you know, full of worldly programmed spiritual and psychological traps that you're currently getting yourself into by chasing and forcing these lives to compensate for the life that the system has enforced upon you. The point I'm trying to make, people, is that you can still live the life that you're currently trying to seek if it elevates your soul and makes you good. But sacrifices are needed to be made. Otherwise, like I said, you are neurologically opening doors, as you will, portals, and you are letting in spiritual traps. You are letting in psychological traps that are essentially going to weaken your mindset, that are going to cripple your way in thinking. And it's extremely dangerous. It is dangerous. And there you have it, folks. Drink plenty, be safe, keep cool, but most of all, and most importantly, I pray to God that you take something from this video, that you learn from it. If it means that it prevents you from making the same mistakes that I made, and know that you can still live the life that you're currently envisioning now to compensate for the life that you once lived in the past. It all comes down to biblical way in thinking, not worldly way in thinking. Peace be with you, and be sure to stay tuned for any further releases